Every transformation begins with one critical moment, the moment you become aware. Without awareness, you are moving through life on autopilot, guided not by intention, but by habit. You wake up every day and operate from a set of beliefs, thoughts, and patterns that were likely given to you, not chosen by you. This is the default programming of the mind, a script written by past experiences, societal conditioning, and unconscious repetition. If you want to reprogram your mind, you must first confront the script. You must pause and take inventory of what's been running in the background of your life. The truth is your current life. The results, the habits, the patterns, they are all mirrors of your dominant thoughts. Not necessarily the thoughts you speak out loud, but the quiet ones that live beneath the surface. Those thoughts are powerful. They guide your decisions, influence your self-image, and create the emotional blueprint you live within. The challenge is that most people are unaware of what those thoughts even are. They feel frustration, doubt, fear, or failure, but they don't trace those emotions back to their root of belief. And behind every belief is a thought that's been repeated over and over again. This is why awareness is the first and most vital step in reprogramming the mind. Until you are aware of what you're thinking, you can't change it. You cannot delete what you can't see. You can't upgrade a system if you don't know which part is outdated. So the first task is not to act, not to fix, and not to manifest, but to observe. Start listening. Become the watcher of your mind. Pay attention to what you say to yourself when no one else is listening. Watch the dialogue that plays in your head when you fail, when you feel fear, when you look in the mirror, or when you dream about something bigger. What shows up in those moments? What voice do you hear? That's the voice that's shaping your future. Often, the internal voice is not your own. It's borrowed. It's the echo of a parent, a teacher, a friend, or a past experience that made you feel small. Maybe you were told that you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not lucky enough. And now, even as an adult, that same voice plays whenever you try to step into something new. You hear it when you go for the job you really want, when you think about starting your business, when you look at someone doing what you wish you could do. The voice whispers, not you. You can't. Don't even try. That voice is the program, and you've been running it for years, maybe decades, without realizing it. This is why awareness is not a luxury. It's a necessity. You must become radically honest with yourself. Don't judge your thoughts. Don't suppress them. Just listen. Take a week and simply observe. When you wake up in the morning, what are the first 5 thoughts you have? When you look at your goals, what immediately comes to mind? Do you expect things to go wrong? Do you assume struggle? Do you sabotage opportunities before they begin? If you're not where you want to be, there's a thought or a collection of thoughts that's holding you there. And those thoughts aren't just passing through. They've taken up residence. They're coded into your subconscious. That's what makes them powerful and dangerous. But here's the breakthrough. The moment you become aware of a thought, it loses control over you. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The shadows disappear not because they were defeated, but because they were seen. In the same way, your negative, limiting, self-sabotaging thoughts can't survive in the presence of consciousness. When you shine a light of attention on them, you break the loop. You create a gap. And in that gap, a new choice is born. Awareness gives you that gap. For example, you might be walking into a meeting and the thought pops up. I'm not prepared enough. I hope I don't mess this up. In the past, you may have let the thought run your energy, drain your confidence, and shape your tone. But with awareness, you notice the thought. You don't push it away. You simply see it. Oh, there's that voice again. The one that tells me I'm not good enough. And just by noticing, you create space. In that space, you can now choose a new thought. You can breathe, adjust your posture, remind yourself of your preparation, and step into the room with clarity. That one moment of awareness can shift the entire outcome. But this is not a one-time fix. Awareness is a discipline. It's a daily practice. Your mind has been rehearsing the same script for years. It won't stop overnight. But with daily observation, those thoughts begin to weaken. They lose momentum. You stop feeding them with emotion and repetition. And soon, what once felt like truth starts to feel like noise. When you live unconsciously, your thoughts own you. When you become aware, you own them. This is the foundation of all mental reprogramming. You can't build a new belief system on top of old, rotting thoughts. You have to tear down what no longer serves you. But you can't tear it down unless you see it first. So the beginning of all transformation is awareness, seeing what's there, naming it, and sitting with it. Even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because discomfort is not the enemy, it's the sign that you're waking up. The words you speak are not just sounds. They are not empty expressions or casual habits. They are tools of creation, seeds of thought turned into form. Every word carries a vibration, a frequency, and a creative force that shapes the way you see the world. And more importantly, the way the world responds to you. You may not realize it, but your entire reality is shaped by the language you use on a daily basis. The words you say to yourself, the words you say to others, and the words you think internally. All of these are part of the architecture of your life. There is a pattern in highly successful, joyful, and fulfilled people. They don't speak like victims. They don't describe their lives as accidents. They speak with intention. They declare what they want. They affirm what they believe, and they do it consistently. This is not about blind optimism or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about understanding that the words you use are commands to the subconscious mind. They are instructions, and your mind listens closely. If you keep saying, "I never have enough money," your mind registers that as a core belief and begins to filter out any opportunities that contradict it. If you keep saying, "I always attract the wrong people," then your mind will subconsciously help reinforce that narrative because that's the script you've handed it. Words are not passive. They are active forces. They shape your emotions, your behavior, and your expectations. Language is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. You cannot manifest what you constantly speak against. You cannot attract abundance while speaking scarcity. You cannot build confidence while constantly criticizing yourself out loud or under your breath. The mind responds to repetition. The more you say something, the more believable it becomes, whether it's true or not. This is how affirmations work. It's not magic, it's programming. It's neurological conditioning, and you are doing it all day, every day, whether you know it or not. The danger is when this power is used unconsciously. People speak negativity over their lives with ease. They say things like, "I'm so unlucky, I can't win. That's just my luck," or "nothing ever works out for me." These aren't just harmless expressions. They are statements of identity, and identity is destiny. When you speak from a place of limitation, you start to live within those limits. You begin to behave in ways that reflect those statements. You talk yourself out of trying, out of risk, out of action, all because the words have locked you into a box. On the other hand, when you speak what you seek, when you verbalize your vision and declare your desires, you are training your brain to search for alignment. You are giving it a target. When you say, "I am becoming more confident every day, your mind starts scanning for evidence to prove that statement true. When you say, I'm open to opportunities, your perception shifts and begins to notice what was always there but previously ignored. The shift is not external first. It's internal. The words shape the belief, and the belief shapes the behavior. Think about the way children develop. A child begins to understand themselves through the words spoken to them. If they hear, you're smart, you're strong, you can do anything, they internalize that identity. But if they constantly hear criticism, doubt, or shame, those words become their truth. Adults are no different. You're still building your identity through the words you hear most often, especially the ones you say to yourself. That internal conversation is shaping your emotional baseline. So, if your internal language is harsh, negative, and self-defeating, your confidence will shrink. Your energy will drain. Your belief in possibility will fade. It's time to become conscious of your language. Listen to yourself throughout the day. What do you say when you make a mistake? Do you say, I'm so stupid? Or do you say, that's okay, I'll learn from this? What do you say when something doesn't go your way? Do you complain or do you redirect your focus? This isn't about toxic positivity. It's about reclaiming authorship. It's about understanding that your words are not just describing your life. They are designing it. The most powerful way to shift your language is to begin speaking in the present tense of the reality you want to create. Don't say, I hope to be successful someday. Say, I am building a successful life now. Don't say, maybe one day I'll be confident. Say, I am growing more confident with every step I take. Speak it like it's already happening. This doesn't mean you lie to yourself. It means you speak the truth of your potential. You align your words with where you're going, not where you've been. Words shape focus, and focus shapes outcome. Whatever you speak about, you give energy to. Whatever you consistently describe becomes a blueprint. This is why people who constantly talk about problems feel stuck in them, because their attention is glued to the language of struggle. If you want to shift your life, you must shift your focus. And the fastest way to shift your focus is to change your vocabulary. Start using the language of solutions, the language of power, the language of vision. Catch yourself the next time you say, I can't. Stop and rephrase it to, I'm learning how. Replace, I never with. I'm working toward. Exchange, that's impossible. For, what if it is possible? These are not just small word swaps. They are powerful shifts in perspective. They tell your mind to open instead of shut down. They tell your subconscious to stay curious, to seek, to act. The greatest changes in life begin with language. Speak with clarity. Speak with intention. Speak with belief, even if you're still growing into it. The more you say it, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more you live it. Words shape the internal environment, and the internal environment shapes every outcome that follows. Thought alone is not enough. Words alone are not enough. The missing ingredient that brings manifestation to life, the energy that electrifies vision into reality, is emotion. Emotion is the fuel. Without it, your affirmations are just noise. Your visualizations are just daydreams. Your goals are just ink on paper. But the moment you add feeling, deep, sincere, and embodied feeling, everything changes. That is when your mind, your body, and your reality begin to align. The human brain is a powerful instrument, but it responds most strongly not to logic, but to emotion. Emotion is what imprints ideas onto the subconscious mind. It is the emotional charge behind a thought that determines whether it takes root or fades away. You don't remember every conversation you've ever had, but you remember the one that made you feel something, The one that made you angry, excited, hurt, or inspired. The same principle applies to the process of manifestation. It is not enough to think or speak what you want. You must feel it as though it is already yours. When you think of a goal, whether it's abundance, health, love, or purpose, you must move past the surface level idea and into the emotional experience of having it. What does it feel like to wake up every morning know you are free? What does it feel like to walk into a room fully confident in who you are? What does it feel like to live without fear, without scarcity, without the weight of old stories holding you back? That feeling, that vibration is what activates your manifestation. Emotion is not something to be feared or suppressed. It is your compass. It tells you whether your thoughts are aligned or misaligned. If thinking about your dream fills you with dread, doubt, or resistance, that is feedback. It means there's an internal conflict that needs to be addressed. But if thinking about your dream stirs excitement, gratitude, and certainty, then you are in alignment. That emotional resonance tells the subconscious mind, this is real, this is important, this is who I am becoming. And the mind begins to respond by opening doors, shifting focus, and creating new patterns to support that vision. The key is learning how to generate emotion on command. Most people wait for their external world to give them a reason to feel good. They wait for the money to arrive before they feel abundant. They wait for the relationship before they feel loved. They wait for success before they feel worthy. But waiting is not how manifestation works. You must generate the feeling first. You must act as the source of the emotion, not the receiver. You must become the cause, not the effect. That is the discipline. To feel now what you want to feel then. To generate joy before the results arrive. To feel gratitude before the evidence appears. Because emotion is magnetic. What you consistently feel becomes your dominant frequency. And what you vibrate is what you attract. The universe responds not to your words alone, but to the frequency behind them. If you say, I am abundant, but you feel lack, the emotion wins. If you say, I am confident, but you feel insecure, the emotion wins. Your emotional state is the true signal being sent out. And that signal determines what comes back. Visualization is one of the most powerful ways to access this emotional state. But visualization is not just about seeing. It's about feeling. When you close your eyes and imagine your ideal life, don't just see the images. Step into them. Walk through the scene in your mind as if it's already real. Hear the sounds. Notice the colors. Smell the air. Feel the textures. But most importantly, feel the emotion. Let it rise in your body. Let it take over your nervous system. Let it become so real that when you open your eyes, the present moment feels like the memory and the vision feels like the now. This is not pretending. This is alignment. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something actually experienced. This is why elite athletes mentally rehearse victories. This is why high performers visualize success in detail. They are not playing games with their minds. They are programming them. They are teaching the brain what to expect, and by doing so, they train the body to follow. The emotional experience becomes the rehearsal. The rehearsal becomes the habit, and the habit becomes the identity. But this also works in reverse. When you constantly relive painful memories, you emotionally rehearse failure. You are your body to expect disappointment. You condition your nervous system to live in a loop of fear and hesitation. So it's not just about generating positive emotion. It's about choosing which emotions you are willing to live in. Every emotional state becomes a signal, and every signal has consequences. You are either conditioning your system for empowerment or for limitation. And the difference lies in which emotions you rehearse the most. To fuel your manifestation with the right emotion, practice daily immersion. Don't just think about your goals once a week. Immerse yourself in the emotion of them every single day. Create a morning ritual where you sit in silence, breathe deeply, and step into the emotional experience of your desired reality. Let it move you. Let it energize you. Let it ground you. If your vision doesn't stir something inside of you, it's either not big enough or you're not close enough to it yet. Emotion is the language of the soul. It is how your inner world communicates with the outer world. When your thoughts, words, and emotions are in harmony, you become a magnet for everything that matches that state. The mind may lead, but the heart makes it real. Your emotional state is not just a reaction. It is a creation tool. Use it wisely. Learn to feel on purpose. Learn to generate emotion as a form of power. Learn to live in the emotional frequency of what you desire before it shows up. That's how you collapse the distance between who you are and who you're becoming. The human mind does not change through one inspirational moment. It changes through repetition. Not by what you think once or what you feel occasionally, but by what you consistently repeat to yourself day in and day out. Repetition is not just a practice. It is the mechanism by which beliefs are formed, habits are shaped, and identities are constructed. Every thought repeated becomes easier to think. Every word spoken over and over becomes embedded in the subconscious. Repetition is how the mind learns, and more importantly, it is how the mind rewires itself. When you came into this world, you were not born with beliefs about money, success, relationships, confidence, or worth. You learned those beliefs. You absorbed them through repetition. You heard them, saw them, experienced them again and again until they became your truth. And now, much of what you believe about yourself and your world is simply a reflection of what you've been exposed to repeatedly. If you want to reprogram your mind and manifest what you want, you must take control of that repetition. You must take responsibility for what you expose yourself to, what you say to yourself, and what you practice mentally and emotionally every day. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between truth and falsehood. It only knows what it has been told repeatedly. It does not analyze or question. It accepts and stores. This is why someone can grow up hearing they are not smart and carry that belief well into adulthood, even if all the evidence proves otherwise. The words were repeated often enough and with enough emotional weight that they bypassed logic and became a belief. That's how powerful repetition is. It bypasses the conscious gatekeeper and installs itself like a program running silently in the background. And once installed, it influences everything. How you think, how you speak, how you act, and what you expect. If repetition created your current belief system, then repetition is also the way to change it. But here's what most people dog. They try to think a positive thought once and expect it to change a lifetime of negative programming. That's like in the gym once and expecting to be fit forever. Change doesn't work that way. The mind must be trained like a muscle, daily, intentionally, with focused repetition. The new thought has to be repeated more often and with more emotional energy than the old one. It has to become familiar, because whatever is most familiar to the mind, it begins to accept as truth. This is where the discipline of daily affirmation, visualization, and self-talk comes in. You may feel resistance at first. You may say the words and not believe them. You may feel like it's not working. But understand this, that resistance is just old programming pushing back. It's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're starting to replace something that has been there for a long time. The mind clings to the familiar, even if the familiar is painful or limiting. Repetition creates a new familiar. Over time, with enough consistency, What once felt like a lie begins to feel like a possibility. And what once felt like a possibility begins to feel like a fact. Repetition is not just verbal, it's behavioral. Every time you act in alignment with your new belief, you reinforce it. Every time you speak the words, visualize the outcome, and take even one step toward your desired identity, you strengthen the neural pathways that support it. The brain is always changing, always rewiring. This process is called neuroplasticity, and it's driven largely by repetition. The more you practice a new way of thinking or being, the stronger those neural connections become. Eventually, they take over. What once felt like effort becomes automatic. What once required discipline becomes your default. This is also why your environment matters. If you are surrounded by voices, internal or external, that reinforce your old programming, your repetition is working against you. Every time you hear, "When you can't, you won't, you're not ready," your brain is getting a signal. Repeated often enough, that signal becomes a belief. This is why protecting your mind is not just about motivation. It's about survival. If you're serious about reprogramming yourself, you must be ruthless about what you repeat, what you watch, who you listen to, what you say to yourself. Because repetition is always happening, either by design or by default. You are either consciously feeding your mind with what builds you, or you are unconsciously letting it absorb what breaks you. Start with the basics. Choose a set of affirmations that reflect the beliefs you want to install. Say them out loud every morning. Write them down every night. Not once, not for a week, but until they become part of you. Visualize the person you want to become. Not once, but every single day until it becomes second nature. Walk, talk, and act if that version of you is real, even when the outside world hasn't caught up yet. Because with enough repetition, the inside world will start to believe. And once the inside shifts, the outside has no choice but to follow. Most people quit too soon. They do the work for a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then decide it's not working. But repetition is a long game. Just as it took years to build the current patterns, it may take months to replace them. But it is possible, it is real, and it is powerful. The key is consistency. Repeating the thought, repeating the action, repeating the emotion, over and over until the new program becomes stronger than the old one, until the new belief becomes louder than the old doubt, until the mind accepts the new command as its default reality. You can think the thoughts, speak the words, feel the emotion, and repeat the affirmations. But without action, none of it moves. Nothing manifests without movement. Action is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It's what takes the vision out of your head and into the world. The universe responds not to your intentions alone, but to your participation. If you want something, you must meet it with your behavior. You must demonstrate your belief through motion. You must act like the person who already has what you desire. There is a common trap in personal development, the idea that mindset alone is enough. That if you just think positive thoughts and stay in high vibration, everything will fall into place. But the truth is, your vibration must be matched by your behavior. You cannot wish your way into a new reality. You must work your way there, not just through hustle or blind effort, but through aligned, deliberate, and bold action. When you take action, even small steps, you are signaling to yourself and the universe that you are serious, that you are committed, that you are not just a dreamer, you are a creator. There is a different energy that surrounds people who take action. You can see it in their eyes. You can hear it in their voice. They are not waiting for the right time, the right mood, or the right opportunity. They create the time, they shift the mood, they generate the opportunity. They don't wait for confidence to appear. They build confidence through repetition, through doing, through showing up even when it's uncomfortable. Confidence is not something you have before you begin. It is something you earn through courageous movement. When you act, you create momentum. And momentum is a force of nature. It turns small wins into major progress. It converts doubt into belief. It transforms hesitation into clarity. Most people wait until they feel ready, but readiness is not a requirement for action. It is the result of it. You become ready by beginning. You become capable by doing what you're not yet great at. Growth never happens in theory. It happens in the doing. It happens in the execution, in the feedback, in the messy, unpredictable process of stepping into the unknown. There is no perfect plan. There is no flawless strategy. There is only action and adjustment. The people who manifest what they want are the ones who are willing to move with imperfect information. They don't need all the answers. They don't need permission. They just need enough clarity to take the next step, and then the next, because every step reveals the one after it. Action opens doors that thinking cannot. It creates opportunities that planning alone will never uncover. Most breakthroughs don't come while sitting still. They come in motion. While you're in the process, while you're out there trying, testing, building, becoming, fear often disguises itself as waiting for clarity. But what's really happening is paralysis, overthinking, analysis without execution. You don't need more time to decide. You need less hesitation. You need to trust that action will teach you more than contemplation ever will. Every step you take teaches you something about your craft, about your capacity, about your courage. Even your so-called failures are lessons wrapped in disguise. They shape you. They strengthen you. They refine your focus. Nothing is wasted when you're moving forward. Every attempt, every experiment, every small risk expands your world just a little more. There is power in doing what others are afraid to do. Not because you are fearless, but because you are willing. Willing to show up unsure. Willing to speak up even with shaky hands. Willing to begin before you feel fully qualified. That willingness creates separation. It elevates you. It puts you in motion while others stay stuck in preparation. You are not born to prepare forever. You were not given a vision just to fantasize about it. You were given the idea so you could bring it into form through action. Action also builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Every time you follow through, you reinforce the belief that you are someone who finishes what you start. That self-trust becomes a foundation. It becomes the fuel for bigger actions, riskier steps, bolder moves. But the trust only grows when your words and actions align. If you say you want change but continue to act in ways that maintain your old life, you create inner conflict. You send mixed signals, and mixed signals create mixed results. To manifest what you want, you must act like it's already happening. That doesn't mean pretending or living in delusion. It means aligning your behavior with the outcome you're calling in. If you say you want abundance, but your actions reflect scarcity, holding back, playing small, avoiding investment in yourself, you're contradicting your intention. If you say you want health, but your actions reflect neglect, poor habits, avoidance, excuses, the energy doesn't match. Manifestation demands coherence. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions must all point in the same direction. It's not about doing everything all at once. It's about doing something every day that aligns with your vision. One phone call, one workout, one idea executed, one fear faced, one habit strengthened, one boundary enforced. These actions compound. They build upon each other until what once seemed far away becomes your new normal. Manifestation is not a lottery ticket, it's a blueprint. And action is how you build it. Sometimes the action will be obvious. Other times, it will require listening, to your intuition, to your inner nudges, to that whisper that says, go here, or try that, or speak now. The more you act, the more you begin to trust those nudges. You recognize that action isn't just a mechanical task, it's a spiritual alignment. It's saying yes to the life you claim to want. It's proving your readiness not by waiting, but by showing up fully, imperfectly, and repeatedly. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be in motion. Because in motion, everything begins to shift. The energy changes. The people appear. The opportunities unfold. The path reveals itself step by step through your commitment to act again and again, regardless of outcome, regardless of fear, regardless of how long it takes. In conclusion, reprogramming the mind and manifesting what you desire is not about wishing or hoping for change. It is about taking intentional, consistent action toward a deeply held belief. It starts with understanding that the mind can be rewired, that what you think and feel on a daily basis shapes your reality. The power to manifest your desires lies in your hands. It's in the thoughts you choose, the emotions you fuel, the repetition of your beliefs, and most importantly, the actions you take. Every step, no matter how small, is a piece of the puzzle. Your thoughts set the foundation, your emotions fuel the journey, and your actions propel you toward the outcomes you seek. Remember, manifestation is not a passive process. It requires engagement, courage, and persistence. It demands that you show up every day ready to align your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors with the life you desire. Your new reality won't appear because you hope for it. It will unfold because you make the decision to live it, to act as though it's already happening, and to stay committed to the process, regardless of how things look in the present moment. The key to unlocking your potential is within you. Through focused attention, emotional alignment, repetition, and bold action, you activate the universe's support for your vision. Your desires are not distant dreams. They are the future that you are actively shaping with every thought, every emotion, and every step you take. Trust in the process, trust in yourself, and remember, you are the creator of your own destiny.